¿Tienes esto? ¿Vale? ¿Y quieres una cosa así para hablar?
No, me voy a mover.
¿Te vas a mover? Vale, pues esto y esto. Welcome back to the plenary room. This is the last plenary of EBDVF 2022. We are all tired, but also very excited. Let's start, even when there are colleagues still out there, and in that way we are on time. So we have today a couple of keynotes, some interesting announcements, and then you will see towards the end how this develops. And please, if we go to the next slide, to the colleagues on the... I have it here, sorry. Perfect. So we go to the keynotes and closing speeches. So I'm very pleased to welcome today a representative from the Publications Office of the European Union, and we will know more. So please, Inmaculada Farfán Velasco will make a very interesting presentation about EU open data following digital innovation. And thank you for being with us.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Oops. Well, so my name is Inmaculada Farfán Velasco. I come from the Publications Office of the European Union. So I come from the EU public sector bubble. I work for the European Commission, and we work on the open data implementation of different projects. So today I'm going to talk about open data falling for digital innovation. During these days of conference, I had the opportunity to learn a lot from you all here in the room. I learned about data spaces, data ecosystems, many different initiatives from the academic or private sector. The thing is that they all had something in common, and it's the fact of data sharing and the importance of bringing data to the next value and really trying to publish it and share it with another stakeholder. So open data, the thing I'm going to talk about today, is data sharing at its peak. So it's the highest level of data sharing that you can find, which means that it gives access to citizens to use it, to access it, reuse it, and distribute it. So I'm going to introduce you to this concept, to the benefits of it, what's in for you, and also to the work of the data.europa.eu, the official portal of European data. No. Okay. Okay, thank you for introduction. Okay, that's great. Okay, so yes, we are living in a moment of an explosion of information. I think we all are very much aware about that. There's an explosion of information, explosion of data out there. There's a lot of production of data, and at the same time, there's a lot of demand of data from citizens. Together with this, there has to be a change on the mindset from enterprises. They are reevaluating the way they do strategies. They're reevaluating their business models in order to grasp the opportunities that this has. Together with it, there are also like innovative changing environments accordingly, and companies, enterprises, governments, public sector, we need to anticipate ourselves to know what's next, what's coming, and how to actually act accordingly to it. But we can see that there's like a shift of mindset. There's a shift on the behavior of the people. So we can say that we're driving towards a data use culture. So we see that there is like explosion of information, there's data supply, data demand, but this is not one standing alone initiative. It has to come as a constellation of practices, a constellation of actions from the private sector, from the academic sector, from the public sector, government, in order to really tackle and to really get profit of these opportunities. So more precisely on the benefits of open data, very generally. So it gives economic growth and job creation, because by data sharing, you will be able to innovative on products and services and have new opportunities in the market. I think it's something we were discussing during these days of the conference. In terms of public sector, it improves the public services, improves the way that we manage the public spending. It tackles corruption, and it helps really public administrations to work efficiently. This comes together with transparency and accountability. So in terms of the governments, cross-data sharing really helps in many ways. Also, we saw it especially on the sectors of health and in the sector of the transport. How mobility data is really changing in the way we're providing services to citizens. And then, last but not least, very important, there's also the stakeholders engagement component. We're not talking here only about enterprises, but also about citizens, and how important it is to provide this data to them in order to make better decisions. Because the better the citizens are informed, the better they're going to be able to make their own decisions. So it's very important that we provide the evidence to them in order to move in this direction. But well, after all this blah, blah, it's very difficult to really understand the benefits, because sometimes we need something measurable, KPIs, to really understand the value that this has. So how can you actually make it in an accountable way? So that's why we have the butterfly effect of open data. So data transforms itself, it reinvents itself, it mixes up with other data sets, until there's a moment that when you see the end product, the end services, you don't recognize the data anymore. So it's very difficult to really understand the impact that this has. So the butterfly effect of open data, I don't know if you watched the movie, it shows how one small action, such as releasing your data and making it open, can really have a major impact on the society. And this is, I'm going to bring it to you with one example. So the Publications Office organizes every year the EBDVF. So the EBDVF is a yearly competition on open data. We invite teams, citizens, developers, academia, small enterprises from all around the world to develop innovative apps and services to tackle specific challenges. And this has to be done, and this is one requirement, with EU open data. So open data produced by public administrations, from national governments, local, regional governments, but also the supranational perspective, so Eurostat, Commission, etc. So they have to address specific challenges. So every year we change the challenges So normally we focus on the European Commission priorities, such as the European Green Deal. I'm not going to go into the explanation of the European Green Deal, but it aims to move towards climate neutrality by 2050. And it goes in several actions, several regulation pieces that will affect manufacturing, industry, it will affect transport, and it will also affect economy and how we see economy. Because we need to build up a model in which economy can be seen in a more sustainable way, and moving from a linear model in which we just take resources from the planet, we use it and throw them away, to really redirect these resources. So waste is very important in order to really understand circular economy, and in order to understand how to bring it to the next level. So some questions that may be placed with the circular economy is, where is the waste coming from? Where is it going? Where is the transport allocated to it? How can we actually reuse these materials in a way that we can reuse and they can become, again, part of the economy? So it seems like a major challenge from governments, very high-level political discussions, but actually one team from EBDVF wanted to make it possible. And this team is GeoFluxus. It's one of the teams that won is the first winning team of EBDVF 2020. They tackle the challenge European Green Deal. They are the ones on the picture here. So there are some researchers and developers then collected data from different resources, open data. So they use customs, trade data sets, a combination of them, from different resources, from different open data portals, from Eurostat, the Dutch data portal, among many others. So GeoFluxus today started the journey in 2020, and now we can say that it's a sustainable, data-driven company that is really supporting on mapping waste management and is supporting local governments in Netherlands to do this. So, sorry. I want to show the previous slide. There's a video to show how it works. Can you? No? Okay. No problem. I will share with you later. So this is more or less how it would look like. And so they wanted to map waste in a very interactive way, very detailed information, but there was a whole journey in this process. So they had to partner up with a lot of local administration, local governments, public administrations to understand what are the needs, what are they going to be the waste flows, and they created a very interesting visualization tool that is available for you in case you would like to have a look. So in order to explain the data cycle and how important it is to involve all the stakeholders, we can see GeoFluxus is a company. They started as a researchers and developer with the mission of circular economy. And they decided that they wanted to develop a mapping waste tool and creating evidence not only for policymakers to really understand which actions to take in order to manage waste flows, but also enterprises to really find these opportunities and reuse these materials, because if not, they're thrown away. So the process of data cleaning, data processing was very difficult to them. So they made use of data portals that were essential in the process, such as data.europa.eu. And they did a lot of data collection, data mixing, interlinking of data in order to come up with this product. So they work with local governments for that, and with this mapping waste tool, they are supporting local governments and also enterprises. In terms of the platform, they started with Netherlands, but they're expanding, and they're doing some pilot projects for other countries. And actually, we're in contact with them to see how we can provide this data supply in order to expand their businesses. And with this, in the whole process, they also help public administrations to understand how to tackle circular economy from a more proactive manner. And public administrations had feedback from GeoFluxus, that is finally a data user, on how to improve the dataset that were published. Because at the end, you publish the dataset, but you need to also understand, have some feedback loop. You need to get some feedback from the users. And all these public administration datasets were published on the portal. So the main takeaways from this project was that data sharing and data quality were essential for the success of the project. So we can see here that they didn't partner up only with Eurostat data sets or with other local governments. They needed to bring them all on board. It's very essential that when we are producing something, it fits the purpose. So who is going to use this, and for which, what are the main questions, what are the main needs that they may have? So partnering up with local governments and stakeholders in the process really help them to really have a tool that currently they are using now. Data reuse initiatives such as competition, conferences such as this one, have a multi-sided effects to different sectors of our economy. And that cycle has demonstrated here all the multiplied effects and benefits of open data. But how important it is as well to have all the actors together, public, private, administration, citizens, in the whole process. But all of this is possible if you have a connector between all this information sharing. And this is where data.europa.eu plays a role. So data.europa.eu, known before as the European Data Portal, was set up a long time ago by the European Commission to help to implement EU open data and reuse policies under legal acts by EU institutions and EU member states. So data.europa.eu rebranding is starting in last year, but the history has come like long time ago. In terms of data sharing and open data, we have more legislative background than, for example, data spaces. There's like some regulation at both national level and EU institutions. So what we're doing is we're working on the implementation of this legal basis. So the European countries, national governments we're working with, they have to transpose the PSI directive, making their data available, and they're using us for this. And on the other side, we have the EU institutions and agencies that are the supranational bodies. They have to implement their own policies and their own regulations, such as, for example, the Commission. We have the reuse decision for that. And they implemented the work on the data, and they publish it through data.europa.eu. So data.europa.eu is not mainly a repository of data sets, but it's a catalog of metadata, which means that we mix up all the data coming from different portals, we harvest them, and we work on interoperability and the data quality, and we use metadata standards in order to facilitate the cross-sharing of information. So we have a very wide community, and we're still trying to create and to shape these personas. So we did a survey not a long time ago on who are these people. So we have public administration, researchers, developers, journalists, private companies. So we wanted to understand who are you, why are you coming to us, and how can we actually serve you better. So we created some sort of personas, and the idea is to really develop services for them, because at the end of the day, it's a public service, and we're supposed to fit everyone's needs. So how it works in practice, data.europa.eu is a portal for European data, but there's way more than that. And we're still expanding our services, and we're still evolving, so it's something very positive, because at the end of the day, we understand that providing citizen-centric services is essential, and we need to communicate with you all in order to do it. So there's like a lot of discussion on how we can do that, and like if you compare the portal from 1 year ago to now, you can see that there are like so many improvements and more to come. So in data access, we provide access to public data from Europe in a single access point. We have around 36 countries publishing, which means that it's outside of the European Union scope. It's not only member states, but also other European countries. Also, your institutions, agencies, and bodies. We work on metadata supply and quality. It's not only like harvesting all the data sets and mix them all together in the portal. We really have to work on data management and data quality in order to ensure excellent, like a good product. So we're having like discussions with our data providers, EU member states and other countries to publish metadata in the Open Data Portal in an harmonized manner, because at the end of the day, it's very important to work on the interoperability of these data assets. But talking something else, that data, we also want to create a kind of an open data community. So here, data reuse is very important. So we organize competitions, we organize webinars, conferences. We are very active on social media, and we want to communicate what open data can do for you at different levels. So we create pieces of data stories. Every month, we create new pieces. We have calendars that are trying to reconnect. And we're really trying to create some collaboration between all the entities. And then this comes together with data literacy. We need to improve like the general data literacy skills in Europe. So we're providing, according to these personas, one specific material for them. So this means it would be like the Data Europa Academy. Okay, so as I was saying before, we're constantly evolving. We move towards a new design, the European Commission design. The best way to understand how it works is like that you go to the website and you check it out yourself. Just a few messages before I finish. I would then reallocate all the services into 4. So one would be data access. So it would be like the access to information. We give access to 1.5 million data sets from 36 countries, 80 publishers from European institutions, agencies, and bodies, and we try to make it interoperable as possible, and it's there for you. We really provide learning material, so we created these personas, we're translated into the academy, and you're going to see some improvements in the future. We're going to launch specific courses, packages of information, depending on the different users that we have. So private companies may have like a training course on how I can introduce data into my company. Some SMEs who want to have some opportunities with data, we can share some use cases, some examples. So we try to bring a solution to everybody. Then it's very important to continue on the research part. So you will find a lot of studies, country insights, the Open Data Maturity Report, that is an assessment on how open data, on how countries are dealing with open data standards and how they are implementing it. And then we try to connect. So we try to be as proactive as possible. We want to hear from you, and we would like to translate it into something tangible that can be useful. So with this, I invite you to go through the website. You can follow us on all the platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to contact us. And yes, thank you very much.
And I think, Inma, stay here with me, please, if you don't mind. Maybe there are some questions, and we make it a bit more interactive now at the end. No question, they were not ready for this. So this is a keynote, we cannot ask. I just want to say, Inma, that you have heard a lot about data spaces during these days, and you know about the Data Spaces Support Center. And I think a very strong collaboration in between the Data Spaces Support Center and Data Europe.eu is necessary. So here is just somehow officially making this call for action to collaborate together. So, and thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you. Okay. So we've been seeing a lot now about open data, impact of open data, the need to really reuse to create impact, and the power and the need of really collaborate around data, which is a very, very important point. So Inma was talking about that, how really data brings people together to collaborate. Same happens in data spaces. We continue with data, and we now move into the European data market. And Giorgio Micheletti from IDC, and please, Giorgio, join us on stage, is going to talk about the European data market, the preliminary results of the 21-23, right? So thank you for being with us today, and please go.
Thank you, Anna, very much. So how does it work here? I have to put...
This one, you need to press to pass. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so thanks for the invitation, thanks for the introduction. This project, I wanted to present you this project very briefly because it has several points that I think are in common and I think relevant for the BDVA and for this conference. So first of all, this is one of the first attempts in Europe to provide quantitative data and indicators to put a measure on the size of the market based on the data. So here we're talking data spaces, we're talking data sharing, but it's also important to understand what is the size of the market of this data and how much would be the impact on the overall EU economy. So I think there is a lot, there's a link here. And the second thing is this project has been going on for quite some time. So you can see here in the slides, we started in 2013-14 in reality, and then the Commission has been asking for a renewal of these data every 3 years, and secondly. So it is pretty successful. These data are used even at the cabinet level and commissioner level. So we're very proud of that, and it seems to be very important. Third, it also represents a good way of collaboration, I believe, between the project itself and the BDVA. the BDVA has been using these data in the strategic research and innovation agenda for quite some time, and has also been quite collaborative in actually helping us shaping the different scenarios for the future of these data. And I'm going to show you this. We had a workshop not long ago. So thank you, Anna, and thank you, Thomas Hahn, and Laure Lebar was there. And I don't know if I'm probably missing someone, but thanks a lot for the collaboration. So what is the data market? A few words on the conceptual framework. I was saying we're trying to. Sorry, I'm left-handed, and for me it's not natural to turn to this one. So I want. But okay, well, let's try to move on this one as well. So we have, as you can see, 6 different macro indicators that we are trying to size here. I say macro indicators because within each of these boxes, of course, there are a series of sub-indicators, and of course, you can see the details in the links that I'll show at the end. But essentially, we're trying to apprehend the number of data professionals, so how many employees are actually employed in the European data economy. So they're actually actively dealing with data. With data managing, but also with data sharing and in data interpretation. So we're trying to apprehend the number of companies. We call data companies. So we've got both data supplier companies, so data that produce data, as companies that produce data and company that use the data. The revenue associated to these data companies, the market that is created by the sharing of the data. If you share the data, then you create products and services that are based on data. These products and services have a value, and we have estimated this value. What is the effect of this data market, the value of these products and services based on data on the overall economy? So in terms of macroeconomics. And then the data skills gap. So we go back to the data professionals. As you can easily understand, we don't have enough data professionals in Europe at the moment, and there is a gap, and we have tried to measure this gap as well. No, the methodology is too boring. So one thing that I wanted to highlight here is that these data have been produced yearly. So we've got the data for 2021, and we are now almost ready with the data for 2022. We need to wait the beginning of next year because we need to make sure that 2022 is closed. And then we have this mid-term, let's say, starting point for the future scenarios, which is 2025. And then we have developed 3 different scenarios at 2030. So we've got, let's say, a projection 8 years from now. And this projection has been created according to 3 different scenarios. You can see here the baseline, the high growth, and the challenge scenario. So we didn't want to call it normal, bad, and good, but essentially this is what it makes. And if we go in terms of policy assumption, that this is a give you. So there are different elements and different assumptions that make up these scenarios. We've got policy assumptions. We got macroeconomic assumptions. We got what we call the global mega trends. So what happens in the world at global level. And then, of course, there's always the wild card or the black swan, or I don't know how to call it, because then if someone decides to invade Ukraine, then you didn't know, and we try to adjust the numbers every year. So this is just an example on the policy assumptions, and you can see here on the first column you got a series of activities that we take into consideration, and how these activities change according to the different scenarios that we have included. And precisely the workshop that we've done, we carried out a couple of weeks ago, thanks also to the BDVA, was precisely there to better interpret and change these possible assumptions. I'm going to give you now an idea of some of these numbers. Take this for what it is, in the sense that this is as I said, is a first attempt It's a modeled exercise. I'm here to ask questions, and of course, I understand that there can be a lot of objections in terms of methodology. But as I said, the project has been going on for quite some time, so the results are has been published since 2014 by the European Commission, so we are pretty sure about our numbers. This is I just give you the idea of some of these indicators. So this is the European data market, so it's the size of the market, how much money is made in Europe, EU 27 in this case, by selling and acquiring products and services based on data, so based on the exchange and sharing of different data. So we're talking billion of euros here. So, for example, you can see on top, the blue one, 64 billion in EU 27 in 2021. But if you project this at 2030, according to the different scenarios, you can see that can be a big jump or a more limited jump, right? It's only 94 if the challenge scenarios happens. It can be 106 if the baseline scenario. So if everything continues to be as it is, I'm simplifying a lot, and of course it can be much higher. 125 if the high growth scenarios materializes. And to be perfectly honest, at this stage, I don't think that the high growth scenario will materialize, but that's my personal idea. As I said, the data economy, so if we take that value of the market and we try to understand what the impact is in macroeconomic terms on the overall economy, there is a multiplier effect. So we can see that if we were talking 60-something billion in 2021 for the data market only, if we look at in 2021, if we look at the overall macroeconomic level, so there's a multiplication by a factor of 6 or 7, so we're talking 443 billions, and the same goes for, of course, the different projections at 2030. So this is to say that perhaps the most important thing is we also try to measure what that would mean in terms of share of the GDP. So if you look at the right-hand side of these numbers, so if we are saying that the data economy is 443 billion, this represents already a 3.6% in 2021 of the EU GDP. Now, 3.6% is huge. So these numbers may not seem a lot, but if you think how much, for example, the EU is spending on military expenses, right? So, I mean, I know this because clearly over the past few months this has been in the news. I'm pretty sure it's lower than this number, right? So we're talking big money. The other examples of indicators, so the number of data professionals. What we put together here is, you can see this in this big box here on top left. So this is the number of data professionals. So I told you, people employed in data companies that deal as a primary activity with data. So we are talking 6.8 million in Europe. But clearly there is not an oversupply of these people. We lack these people in Europe. So there is a gap, and the gap that it came up, well, we're talking only, at this case, 338,000 people missing in 2021. And look at this, how this number can change according to the different scenarios. If this is not a paradox, this is quite normal. If the situation improves and there is an high growth scenario that materializes, unfortunately, Europe is not in a position to keep pace with this positive development, and therefore the data professional skills gap will become higher. And as I explained the other day in another session on skills, these numbers are actually conservative well, not in my opinion. We were conservative in our estimates. So the skills gap is higher actually probably than this number, and also because for methodological reasons we are talking data professionals, so we are talking only a certain limited category of people that deal with data. But if we talk data economy in general, and if we talk digital technologies, there are other people as well. So probably the definition is higher and the gap is bigger. So obviously we need to do something about it. An example of quantification of the data companies, we distinguished between, as I said, data suppliers and data users. So companies that produce data and companies that use data. Well, that's very simple. You see the difference. Companies that use data nowadays are almost everyone. So we use the data that are put out there, and companies that produce data according to a certain definition we are using in NACE codes from the European Commission. But essentially, same thing. If the high growth scenarios materializes, these numbers are exploding or some being multiplied. And the different thing is if the baseline or the challenge scenarios become the reality. An example of graphical representation of just two of the indicators that I was mentioning, data market and data economy, according to the three different scenarios. Before someone asked me, this is a mistake. So essentially, the challenge scenarios. So these two columns are inverted because clearly the challenge scenarios is smaller and lower than the high growth scenarios. So this is a mistake, and I couldn't. Sorry, Anna. This morning I sent you the slides after yesterday evening, and I couldn't change this. But perhaps one thing that I wanted to draw your attention on, this little thing here that you see here. This is a new feature that we introduced this year in this project. So yes, we have the market, the size of the market based on so products and services based on data. We have the effect that this market has on the overall economy, but we also tried to put a value on the data monetizations, meaning if companies are not just putting these data to use to create products and services, but if companies are actually selling the data, how much revenue they would make out of that. Now, this is a very, very tricky question. I've been personally looking at several reports from the OECD, from other organizations. One of the key answer was, we don't know, because we don't know how much a single data point is valued, because we don't know the value. It could be 10 euros for me, that specific data, because I know that I'm going to use it for something, but maybe for you it's going to be 100 euros, or for another one has no value at all. So it's very difficult to put a tag on a dollar tag or a euro tag to a single data. So we did some research. We created a model, and we came up with these numbers. Take it for what they are. Take it with a pinch of a grain of salt, because it's just a very, very first attempt. But perhaps it's interesting to notice that in 2021, the proportion of data monetization, if we compare it with the data market, is less than 1/4 of that, so it's very small. But if we project it in 8 years, in 2030, and if we take the high growth scenarios, it's already becoming 1/3. So there is a projection, and it's an increase that it increases rapidly and more substantially than the other two indicators. So I think it's interesting, but we are just at the beginning with this. Yeah, very last thing I wanted to point you to the fact that the European Commission has asked us to do this exercise, although slightly limited, but to do this exercise also at an international level. So they wanted to understand where the other regions of the world, of countries of the world, partners or competitors are. And so we came up with this estimate. We also did it for other countries. We got it from Brazil, we got it for Japan, so we have it for Korea as well. So there are other countries, but I'm just going to show you a very quick glimpse of China and the United States. Essentially, what I put down here is that the United States is obviously number one, but China is becoming a very fast competitor. So China is smaller in terms of data market and data economy, but is growing faster, much faster. So if the situation remains what it is, in a few years, the situation could be reversed. Europe could be in the third position after the US and after China. Now Europe is basically in the second position after the US. Well, key takeaways, well, that's not a big thing. Yeah, of course, we have seen renewed post-COVID growth, right? So over the past 2 years, there was something that we saw degrees of these indicators. The scenarios are changing fast and rapidly, and it's becoming much more difficult to make assumptions for the future. Value for the data reaching mainstream status, yes. So I showed you an attempt of put a dollar sign or a euro sign on data monetization, and this is rapidly increases. So just a few years ago, it would have been impossible to do this exercise. And yeah, well, what you know already, Europe is certainly leading the way in digital regulations, because when we did this analysis at international level, we always know that Europe is taken as, in many of these respects, is taken as an example also for the US and China as well, especially for the US. Yeah, and new EU's international assertiveness, precisely because of what the von der Leyen Commission has been doing since the very beginning. Well, you might have heard about the renewed appeal to digital sovereignty, for example, given the international situation and so on. So these are some of the takeaways, and with that, I think I have concluded my presentation, and thanks very much again for having given me the time. So thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us and for taking the time. I would like to confirm, Giorgio, our collaboration for years in between EBDVF and IDC. And it's true, we have been using a lot your reports. They have been guiding us. Also, the reports were used actually to evaluate the impact of, for instance, the previous partnership. Yes. And many of you that are leading projects or were leading projects, you were asked many times how you think your project is contributed to data professionals, to to different macroeconomic KPIs. And I remember looking at the qualitative answers, of course, no quantitative, and reviewing everything with your colleague, ex-colleague Gabriela, and really looking at very nice results of how research projects are really, when you see a bunch of 40 projects, how they reflect on their contribution to the macroeconomic KPIs. There were very good results in those reports. So we should continue using these studies.
Super.
And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. So now we move from a keynote to one of these announcements, and then we will continue with some presentations. So I would like to invite on the stage Thomas Hahn and Monique Calisti, and allow me for a few words. So we are, no, but come with me here, come on. It's very, I don't want to be lonely on the stage. So we are gonna now sign a memorandum of collaboration. But allow me for a few words before this happens. So this is a moment of pictures and putting things on the social media. So most of the collaborations, we believe on collaboration. Probably everybody has noticed in this event that we really, in EBDVF, we are believers of the power of collaborations. And I have to say, many of you, many of our members, are really the ones driving or leading other initiatives. And they are the ones really bringing that value. Hey, we should collaborate with this initiative, or I'm leading this initiative, why don't we do something together? So we have now a large network of collaborations, and that's thank you to you. And I want to, this is one case, and a very inspirational case. I want to call your attention that, I mean, if you are involved in other initiatives, you see power of, or possibilities of collaboration. Just talk to Thomas, talk to me, because we really believe that we need to collaborate with others. And I think the nature of data clearly requires these collaborations. Today, we have a collaboration between EBDVF, represented by our president, Thomas Hahn, and Digital for Planet, also represented by the president of Digital for Planet, Monique. Monique is also a CEO of Martel and is a member of EBDVF. And we will know a bit more about Digital for Planet in a moment after the signature. But just to say a few words, Digital for Planet really looks after a sustainability Green Deal. And together with big data, with AI, with data in general, we really want to see, there are many synergies, right? I mean, data and AI have been contributed to aspects of sustainability and Green Deal. So we want to do things together. And we have declared we want to do things together, and that's the reason why we have Thomas and Monique with me. So I leave the floor for a few comments from your side, and I bring the papers for signature.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Was expecting some music. You can imagine why. Great community, great vibes. A lot of energy, good energy. And this is, I think, what we need in order to close the gap that there is still between the digital and what we need to do to save and protect our planet. The good news is that there's a lot of people, a lot of organization actively engaged. We want to grow this movement. We want to make sure that what we do, our innovation has a meaning to our society and helps protecting the planet. I've heard many presentations, and I'm very glad that in this community there's a lot going on. And we are here to make sure that we can do even more together.
Very good.
Okay, yeah, of course we missed the music, but we had enough music yesterday evening or night. And we are still recovering, no, it's a stroke. Also many thanks, Monique, also for this opportunity. And as Anna said very openly, cooperation is key. You know all my boring words, how this can be done together better. Have to have, let's say, a complete overview and a holistic view on it. And that's the reason why we are very happy to have this collaboration between a lot of others, cooperation today or in the future, signed today. So many thanks. It's a good sign we have here.
But this is what we're doing down
exactly.
here.
We have to look. But yes, somebody coming on the corner. Yeah, please make it from the side.
Exchange, no?
And once it's signed, here we have our floor.
Oh, we have to.
And just show the, yeah, together. Excellent. Yes,
We have the photographer. Where here?
you have to show over there.
And we have to. Oh, okay. So what we do? Mic array.
Just a moment.
And one is showing.
It's also professional teachers. You did it.
Many thanks.
Yeah. Maybe we put the slide so people know a bit more about Digital for Europe. 3 minutes and then we continue.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, that one. Okay.
So I wish I could dance, but you know this was already done. So I will just spend a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit more about Digital for Planet. We have heard, we know that digital technologies have a huge potential in order to help us addressing a lot of climate challenges that we're facing. Technologies are already used in a variety of ways and cases. It's very difficult this stage. You don't know where to stay and where to look, but sorry. So clearly there's a huge potential. And we also know that despite this potential, ICT and digital technologies are also a big part of the problem. Energy consumption, mining of rare minerals, e-waste production, also a habit to push for overconsumption somehow. Now what we want to do with Digital for Planet is to make sure that we voice all these innovators, researchers, and policymakers, whether they are public authorities, private organizations, individuals that are at work to make sure that we design and we develop and we adopt technologies that help greening the environment, but that they are also greener in terms of how they are built. There's a lot of potential, and what we do with Digital for Planet is to gather organization. It's an open network. It's a non-profit association that is currently based in Switzerland, but that is open to anyone that wants to join this movement. We do several things. We help innovators and researchers to identify investments, opportunities to develop their sustainable digital research and innovation plans. We organize webinars, events that are focused on digital sustainability. We basically create a platform of knowledge. There's a lot to be said and to be done. We hope, if you are working in this environment, that we can help you promoting this work. And within the BDVA, there's a lot that is being done. We know that big data is crucial to several initiatives like Destination Earth, Destination Ocean. We have heard yesterday about these initiatives. There's a lot of work that this community is already doing. So please speak up and join the movement, because we have already several working groups that are active on several areas, but you can, of course, create your own working group when you join the community. And actually, there are several working groups within the BDVA that we want to establish closer connection and closer collaboration with. So basically, let's join the movement, because the planet is calling, and it's never too late. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Monique, now we need to call for action. No? We need to start organizing our first joint workshop very soon, the first quarter of 2023. So those of you interested with projects or activities, that please contact me, contact Monique, and we will organize first activities soon. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we haven't finished this event yet, but we want to talk a bit about the future, so you are aware of what is coming up after the end. No? And for that, we have invited to the main organizers of our upcoming activities. And I'm very pleased and really to have here Jeanette Nilsson from RISE, as they will be the organizers of the Data Week 2023. Jeanette. Sorry. Yeah. You use this one in case there are questions.
Okay, I hope that we can show the movie, because that was my image that I was, together with the other colleagues from RISE, moving up during the movie. So please, my colleagues from RISE, come. now you have a feeling of what Luleå is. And it's, I wanted to show the winter and the summer. That's a video that we made 5 years ago. So you will see when you come to Luleå that we have built some new houses because of all the green industry that is growing in the north. So I have one slide. Can you please show that? Next year in the summer, when if you have not experienced the midnight sun, there will be a perfect time to do that, because then it's daylight all night, and now it's not night all day now, but it's kind of dark in Luleå now. So the event will be in Luleå then on the 12th to the 15th of June, and we are going to do it together with the Swedish presidency. And focus on, some of you met people from the high performance computing yesterday, and so they really said also that they are very interested to participate and work more together with us, since we are working so much with AI and data. So we are soon going to see what the program is going to be like, but these will be some of the ingredients, and also a possible visit to the ice space in Luleå, that's called Ice. And then you can see the cupboard where we have some fine prizes, and also some fine prizes from EBDVF. And so we are really looking forward to meet you in Luleå next year. So you are all welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeanette. And obviously, after this video, it's like, wow, but we should go now in winter. Excellent. Just a note about the Data Week. So the Data Week is an event that we organize together with UHAS for Data. UHAS for Data is the overall federation of our iSpaces. It's now a project, but it will continue. So it's very good. We will have there the power of the overall community. And we go from Sweden to Spain. And it's not because I'm Spanish, it's because it will be the Spanish presidency on the second half of next year. And I would like to invite Daniel Saez from ITI, that he will explain more about EBDVF 2023. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Anna. Is the green one? Okay. Just a few words about the next year, now that we are coming to the end of this forum in Prague. But we are already thinking about the next year, because 2023, there will be a lot of challenges in data spaces, industrial AI, HPC, transcontinuum, but also testing and experimentation facilities, European DIHs. A lot of things will happen regarding data, regarding artificial intelligence. The last H2020 projects will finish and will show the final results, but also new projects from Digital Europe and Horizon Europe will get mature, and we will have interesting results. And we want that all these results, all these projects will come to Valencia, will come to EBDVF 2023 to show that data economy is becoming a reality, to show the pragmatic way of data economy. And as the tradition says, it will be in Spain, because Spain is taking the EU presidency in the second half of 2023. A few words about the data economy policies in Spain. I think Spain is has a very good framework for data economy. We have a digital strategy. We have an artificial intelligence strategy with also a very good position in regulatory sandbox. We have a very active data office, and we are focusing on different sectors where Spain has a high potential, not only tourism, which is one of them, but also agri-food, industry, mobility, and health, which are the 5 main sectors for Spain. Just to highlight one figure, in the recovery funds we have allocated, or Spain has allocated 500 million for data spaces that should be allocated next year. So this is a great opportunity and opens a good scenario in Spain for data spaces. And we will go to, within Spain, we will go to Valencia. Just 1 minute video.
Of tourism that sees, lives, cares, and feels. It's the year of challenges that take your breath away. This is the year when all the stars in the sky shine like never before. The year of taste, creativity, and daring. It's the year of the best place to live when you know how to live life. It's the year of hospitality, diversity, and inclusion. Of smart tourism. This is the year of design you can touch, see, and feel. It's the year of all the things you can't miss. Because this year, it all takes you to the same place. Valencia is now.
You can see it is totally different than Lulia, but but we can be very complementary. But it is not only because of sun, the beach, the food. Valencia is positioning in this year and next year, for example, as the World Design Capital in this year. It is the European Capital of Smart Tourism in 2022, and is finalist of the European Capital of Innovation Awards, which will be resolved in the 7th of December. And in addition, and taking into account the last words from Monique, it is the European Green Capital in 2024. So these are good achievements that make attractive Valencia. And I don't want to finish without remember some things that happened in Valencia. Valencia was an important milestone for BDVA. Most of you will remember because you were there, because this community is very, very stable, and most of the people are still here. We had this event in 2016, the BDVA Valencia Summit. You may remember, or you have some good memories about all these projects that were about to start in those days, and represented the starting point of the BDV PPP projects. There we will have, and these are the pictures of that event, place to show the achievement of the projects, to work, to make workshops, interact with people, and also we cannot miss the food and also the dance. That is, it's important for all of us in order to get all the links. So we are sure that Valencia will be in 2023 another milestone for BDVA for starting new things in BDVA and also the data economy. So see you all. I hope to see you all in Valencia. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Daniel. It's going to be a super year next year. And still there will be more events next year. I think also with the Data Spaces Support Center, I think in March, there will be an event about the data spaces, and I'm not mistaken, will be in the Netherlands. So, you know, we're going, and maybe with AI, we announce something soon as well. So, interesting year in terms of gathering together again the community. Daniel said an interesting thing, stability of the community. I could call it more resilient. We talked about the resilience. Thomas, come with me, because that way we move into the final remarks. We talked the first day about resilience of Europe, the data economy, and we have been discussing during 3 days, you know, like 3 years without experiencing this community, no? And wow, after 3 years, you are so active as a community, and you're really very resilient. And I think that's what makes Europe very resilient as well, right? Thomas, what do you think?
Yes, it's working. Yeah, sorry. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We covered a period of 2-3 years where we are mainly meeting, let's say, remote, virtual, but you feel here today, in the last days, the atmosphere. And you're right, this resilient is a robust organization, is an organization ecosystem, like always I want to say, which is capable to do something, to drive something forward, to cooperate. We have just seen it before. And I think at the end, this is the backbone. Because, coming to Daniel, here you're sitting, sorry. You mentioned also this Data Space Business Alliance. I think this is giving also a push forward. I don't know if Lars is in the room. No, I don't see him. I think he is departed. But nevertheless, with IDSA, with Gaia X, with 5, we are pushing forward and trying to do something together. And as said, and you cannot do this without the backbone of you all, without our ecosystem. But nevertheless, it's a very important for us. And you have seen the presentation about data possibilities, data economy from Giorgio here. Sorry, and this is what we are targeting together. And that's the reason why we all need us in this community. Let's phrase it in this way.
And we have been talking about 2023.
Yes.
But things continue, no? Then there will be a 2024. And maybe I will invite Laure on stage. Maybe she can tell us something about 2024. We are futurists here.
Yeah, so 2024 in the second half, that will be Hungary, will be at the presidency. And okay, we are preparing this as well, so we'll... please comment, Edina.
Yeah,
and by the way, I came, the first time I visited here in Prague and Hungary was in 2005. So I came from Canada, so I'm back to the roots, I will say.
Okay, so thank you very much. It's a way away, but we're already very excited and preparing. And well, I personally have been engaged with this community, mostly in a different hat, in the idealist hat, offering you transnational national contact point services like proposal checks and topic trees. So I'm really, really excited that for a change, I'll be able to welcome you in a national hat. And it will be a very important time in the framework program because it will be midterm. So we'll be looking back on the one hand, but it's also right before the publication of the last 3-year work program. So I think we'll have a lot to discuss there. And the Hungarian community is also really excited to see you. We have a huge coalition of AI. We have updates of our national data strategy and our national AI strategy ongoing. So look forward to welcoming you.
Excellent.
And some members. Few members.
Yeah, Laure has a history in his
her
professional career in Hungary. So good.
So I hope we will bring those colleagues as well. A bit of labs in Hungary. So
very good. Okay, so we are heading to the end, and you can stay, Laure, because it's good. We are a team. By the way, you have noticed this is not prepared. So here we are natural, just telling certain things.
Told me between two
this is not prepared.
Yesterday.
But we are heading to the end. And of course, it's the moment to say thanks. And I'm looking to each of you. I would like to have the time to look individually to each of the persons in this room. Because in reality, it's all of you, all of us together who makes this possible. And look at the program, look at the list of speakers, session organizers, everything. This is possible thanks to you. So first, big applause to you all. Thank you for all the efforts to make this happen. Second, and now I want to talk about the board of directors of EBDVF and the management, and Thomas is president, and Laure is vice president, and I think Valerio is not here any longer. He had to leave, I think, and our other vice president is not here, but there are board members in the room. If you want to join. One of the key things that an organization is to have is a very active and committed board. If you don't have active board members, if you don't have committed president, committed vice presidents, then it's very difficult to make things happen. And I have the pleasure, and for me, it's really, my work is so easy because I can work with this active, and I can say we have a very large board, but it's a very effective group of people. And first, for all of you who are in the board of directors of BDVA, thank you for your work. And in particular, Thomas Loch, Valerio Annette is not here with us, but these people are very busy. It's just a hobby for them, as Thomas says. They have been joining, for instance, for the preparations of this event, weekly meetings every week for 6 months. So this is a very committed group of people, and thanks to them, things are happening. So big applause, Thomas in representation of the board, but to the whole board of BDVA as well. No, there are other things.
Yeah. Only one comment, if you allow,
Okay.
my boss. Yesterday, I was asked from another person, Stefan Hoppe,
Okay.
from the OPC Foundation, one of the sponsors. He asked me, how the hell are you doing this? The day has 24 hours. How you are doing this? You are 7 days a week. How you are doing this? Also, when you're using the time shift, when you're flying around, how you are doing this? The last one was, of course, a joke. And I said, we have an excellent back office. I have to do nothing. Sorry, Laura. nearly nothing. Office. Office. Oh, sorry. Wait. Let's say we have the office in the background, and I can tell you, she said, Anna, get support from us, yes, but sometimes I'm turning around and say, Anna, we need to organize this event. It's done. Let's raise it. And this is exactly what is also one secret what I really want to say here in public. It's not about us. When I look in our both eyes, it's also
about... True. I mean, it's true that this has happened. Thomas, I mean, not Thomas, but the community has organized this. And you know, Thomas, there is always a person who, I mean, it's a collaborative effort, but there is always one person, right? That is the person who makes things happen, right?
Yes, you have to, like in a typical project, you have to have somebody
that, if that person is not there, even you make all the efforts, but things are not connected, things don't happen. So we have that person. And I would like to invite Sina Risanian on the stage. So, Sina, we have a few presents for you. One, I think it's better if you use it today. But
I'm with my car.
Yeah.
I take it.
But anyway, honestly, it has been excellent. I think everybody knows Sina at this stage. And, well, so many people approached me saying this has been great. And I was just thinking about you every single moment. We have suffered a lot, in the good sense, but it has been hard work. But thank you very much for putting so much of you energy and always with a smile and being so patient with me, with everyone. And really, it has been an excellent event, mainly thanks to you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I can add that. And again, having this experience of organizing EBDF and was called differently, but this was basically the same event. The experience, I mean, this year I didn't have to worry so much or be in every detail. But this was smooth and this was so easygoing. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, nearly nothing to add, but many, many thanks, Sina, for organizing this, because everything was fantastic. And right, we met us, don't ask me, every week, but it was easygoing because we get to plan, we have to say yes, no, no, yes, and Sina has organized this.
Excellent. Another big applause. Thank you very much, Sina. And yeah, stay through. And I mean, of course, it's, remember in the old times when the office was just me and someone else. So But we are growing and we will continue growing. And this effort, again, is a collective effort. And I would like to call on stage the whole BDVA office. Please come here. So Mattia, Jaco, Konstantina, Cristina, and we stop there, but there will be more soon. Please come and big applause for them because they have been working like hell.
No flower, useful gifts.
So who says something?
Yeah.
Come on. So yeah, this is the current team, and again, yeah, we still have vacancies open, so we will grow. And well, it's what can I say? No, it's an extraordinary team. I'm really, you know, with this excellent board, excellent team. What else can I ask for? No. Yes, music. So, but yeah, I have to say, organize these events is a lot of work. And this team have been really collaborating together, making extra efforts, really going to the limit in many occasions to make this happen. And we do it, first because it's the job, of course, but because we believe on what you are doing. And we really want to make sure that this grows, this stays. And well, it's really thank you, a big applause for them again.
I just wanted to add, this is not a traditional conference where you sit and listen. This is really for you. This is by members for members. So this is also what's interesting happening here. Everybody participates. It's not like just BDVA, back office, whoever who is creating the program. This all the input of you. And this is really important, that this is here to stay. So that's, don't take it as a traditional conference. I go here and listen and then end of it. This is a beginning of this networking. You will continue. There is plenty of activities at BDVA directly as member, as collaboration. So please continue this.
I make it very short. I see in the background our colleagues. Some were Jan, not sure if he's still in the room. I have to leave, so I missed him. But nevertheless, many thanks also, because, you know, we have or doing organize the event, but we need also a local partner. And this was really very good. Thanks for your hospitality. Thanks for your guided tour yesterday evening through the city. Thanks to make this happen. So many thanks. And of course, thanks to all of you. Like Laura said, without you, it would be not possible. Many thanks.
Thank you. We are not done yet. Eh? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So thank you, Jaco, you stay, please, and the rest of the colleagues. So we continue with the announcements. So not all the announcements are good announcements. This is very sad news that I'm going to share at the moment. Although all the good thing, all the, let's say, sad thing bring also new beginnings and new things. So you know, Jaco is our communications manager. It will be 2 years in February, right, that you've been with us. And we all know that he has made a complete difference in our communications. No, we didn't have one before, but you have really transformed BDVA through communications. So unfortunately, Jaco is leaving the team at the end of this year. So, I mean, we need to celebrate his future. This is part of development, right? So that's the important part, that he's moving in a direction that he wants to move. For me, it's very sad news, but I mean, that's life. And I wanted to take advantage that we are here together to really thank Jaco for all he has also worked very hard and has put a lot of himself on BDVA. And I really want to collectively thank him for all the great work he has done. Thank you very much, Jaco. You want to say something?
Oh, I can have a couple of words. Yeah, it's kind of weird to be here in front, speaking to the microphone, when you're used to be at the back, ensuring that everybody else can speak on the microphone. I would like to just quickly thank my team, of course, especially this event organization has proven that under Anna's leadership, this team can patch and support each other, even when I'm stuck in a train from Vienna to here. I think Mattia is a half a communication manager at this point of the event. Then, of course, I want to thank the whole community. Time and time again, I've been amazed how enthusiastic and insightful community this is, and also kind, just not only professional, but just genuinely nice people, which is always nice to work with. And yeah, I can tell from the heart that it's been an honor to work for this community. But I'm not cutting the ties. I'm going to still be working with the technology topics, and I will make sure that I will come to the EBDVF events. I'll promise to my future employer that I will write an event report. That's how far I'm willing to go to be in these events.
Wow, great.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we are heading to the end now. Was the moment to say thanks to the oh no, it's okay, but it's better to do it twice than just once. To thank indeed our local organizers, also members, and I was talking about the board, etc. But there has been like 2-3 people per organization. From the Charles University of Prague, Jan is gone. From IT for Innovations, Katerina and other colleagues were in the calls and really doing so much for us. And also the colleagues from Plan for All and really making contacts for us. And many other colleagues, local colleagues of them, that they have been contributing to the different tracks, like in energy and in other areas. So without our members, again, our events are not possible. So thank you, and big applause to the local organizers, please. We need to thank our sponsors. So, as I said, we didn't prepare the script for this. Yeah, thank you. We have done it several times. I hope those of you that invested in the event, so of course we need to make this event sustainable. We want to lower barriers for participants and to make that happen because, of course, things cost money, so we need the sponsors. And we really, this year has been great support from organizations and projects. I hope you got results of sponsoring EBDVF. I hope we gave you enough visibility, but really thank you and stay with us for the upcoming events as well. But a big applause for all the sponsors as well. And that's all, I don't have anything else to say. I only have announcements for what happens later on survey. So if you want to say something else before we close, or otherwise.
No, everybody a safe trip home. Enjoy the remaining week, and hopefully you have a lot of content get out of the meeting and have also a lot of fun. So many thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Great. So 2 announcements before you go for lunch, finally. So this afternoon in the agenda, weeks back, like at the beginning, we wanted to celebrate our General Assembly for members just after EBDVF. We decided at the Board of Directors like 1 month ago not to do it because our experience in the Data Week and also remembering previous experiences was not good because many of you have to run, like you see colleagues running. Then you were in the General Assembly and Thomas and I had to run just because people had to take flights back home. And we thought, no, this is not a way to do it. We are here together, many of us. We have shared a lot. And all those things we can do online. So we decided to do the General Assembly online. We have learned that we can be very efficient in decision-making online as long as the topics are known. So we are not celebrating. Then we thought, okay, so let's have a meeting with members. At least we can share impressions. So we booked a room downstairs, then decided not to do it, then we are doing it again, because there are different people with different opinions. Some of you told us give us more time for networking, others are interested in having talks with Thomas, with me. So what happens after lunch, for those of you that are stay here, Thomas and I will be downstairs in the room that we have used for the meetings, Euphoria. and around 2 or, yeah. And we are very happy to exchange with those of you that either want to talk more with us or have opinions, things that we can do better, or to talk about content, whatever. We don't have a defined agenda, or things that you heard that you don't understand well, what's going on, you come. Open meeting, right, Thomas? Short, but open meeting. So Thomas and I will be there. We will improvise, but we want to bring value, so whatever you bring to the meeting, we will be there. And that's all. And then there is a survey, right? But I thought there was a QR. Okay. And what do I have to say now? That the survey is where?
The survey is through the app, and you can find the QR codes that are distributed on the table.
And then we will send an email to everyone saying, give us your opinion. Excellent. So we want to know your opinion. Please be critical, because we want to improve. So if you have a few minutes of your time, either go to the app or go to our table and you just scan the QR code, or you will receive an email to give us feedback. Thank you very much and enjoy lunch. Bye.